Good evening, Vicksburg. Welcome to tonight's council session. It's May 20th, 2024. I'll call this meeting to order. And if you join me, please, with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's just take a quick moment of silence. There's a lot of people that are suffering from Houston to Oklahoma City to Kansas to Portage. So let's keep them all in our thoughts and prayers. And if you would, Kristen, we take a roll call, please.
Trustee Fields. Here. Trustee Wagner. Here. Trustee Reister. Here. Trustee Olson.
Here.
Trustee Kissinger. Here. President Pro Tem Keller.
Here.
President Frisbee.
Here. So we have a full group tonight. Thank you all for being here. We have an agenda in front of us tonight. I think we'll add to scheduled appearances Mr. Mike Schwartz. Other than that, was there any other items to add, my staff? Or?
Yes, if I can add 11F. We have the opportunity, and I'll go in more detail, to secure 2 electric utility carts that would be instrumental for downtown events and that, and can explain it. It's total cost for both is $15,000.
We have an agenda in front of us. Any motion to approve?
What was amended?
Support.
Motion by President Pro Tem Keller, support by Trustee Wagner. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? We have an agenda. Thank you very much. So we have the time for Mr. Mike Schwartz with Prine and Newhoff. We'd like to talk with us.
Thank you very much for having me tonight. I just wanted to stop by for a few minutes and give some accolades and thank you to the Village of Vicksburg on a fantastic project that the city has, or the village has done in the downtown. So that was the main purpose. As most of you know, this project has been very active in your community for many years, and it's kind of came to a conclusion in the past, few months, and it's been up for many awards. And the village did receive one of the most prestigious awards in the state of Michigan. For the ACEC. And Tim and his wife was able to go to the awards along with a couple of our staff and picked up the awards. And this is the placard that was on display for the projects that were selected for the Merit Award. So I'm here to present this to Jim and Tim to hopefully proudly display this somewhere in your facility. And I just really also want to say thank you to the staff here. I know Jim and Christian and many of the other DPW people were highly involved on this. I mean, we keep thinking this is like an engineering project, but the amount of public relations and stuff that goes involved behind the scenes, just kudos to everybody involved on this project. So with that, I would just like to say congratulations on this award for the Merit Award for ACEC. And it was a pleasure working on this project.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you. I think that banner put us over the top too, and I told you all that I had the opportunity to attend the gala in Detroit, and what a phenomenal event. But everyone that applied for the award and the acknowledgments of the awards all put together these placards, to display what they accomplished. And a little selfish, but I thought that was the best one. So. I appreciate what you did with this. It was very, very kind of you all to think about that and leave it with the village, so thank you. And we really appreciate your team. And it was pretty seamless, and I didn't field too many calls from village manager Mallory, so that was a good. But thank you, sir. All right, we had no public officials in front of us, and now is the time for citizens' comments for agenda items. If there's anything on the agenda one would like to discuss, now's the time to do it. And if you would, please just to the podium and state your name and address, please.
Gareth Troyer at 138 North Main Street. I know we're going to discuss the car festival coming up, which is a fantastic thing. I love it. The one thing that being here now 2.5 years and where we exactly live, obviously that comes down our street all the way to the end. I think all I'm asking is if you guys would consider, there's about 5 houses along that strip before the stoplight. We have kids that go to work, and then last year they couldn't even get back to our driveway because they couldn't come back across the railroad tracks. I don't know if there's just a way of giving a pass where we could have whoever lives in those homes, because some of us have to work on that Saturday morning. My son had to park, I don't know, around the corner at the historical area and walk home. I just want you guys to consider maybe just the people that live along that east side of the road there across from Family Fair, that it makes it a little bit of a challenge. They're not parking in front of our driveway, which is good, but we'd like to be able to get back in. I know it's a lot of people, but I think we could have that looked at a little bit.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Sure, and if it doesn't trouble you, if you want to step out into the atrium, Chief Sanderson can go and get on the same page, and we can develop that. Can you do that for me, Chief?
Sure.
Thank you.
Now or after?
Now is good.
Oh, now? Yeah.
Good to see you.
That's action, and thank you very much. So, Chad Kissinger, welcome. My apologies for not being here for your introduction and kickoff and swearing in, but we're really honored to have you on this team. So, look forward to a lot of great things coming from you, and going to have some committee assignments in the next meeting in June. I had planned on waiting till after the election, but so much is transitioning right now that I think we need to do it quicker than waiting. So in June, we'll probably have some other announcements and more responsibilities for you. So,
Perfect.
thanks. I wanted to comment on the Citizens Academy and what the staff is doing and what they've done. We had our fifth Citizens Academy on this past Wednesday, and what a great event. We had representation from the Kalamazoo County Administrator to a Commissioner. We had both the Senate and the House representation and the U.S. federal congressman representation here, and they sat up here and gave a rundown on their position and what drives them and what motivates their candidates, or who they report to. And it was a really good interaction. You know, Jim took the time. We had put together questions and submitted them to him, and one at a time asked them. So thank you, Jim, for doing that. But what a great event. And that's the way, truly, I believe government needs to work. The more we engage with each other, the better off we're going to be. In the birthday celebration, kick off of summer, so many people came up, said this is a great event to kick off the summer. And I said, it's our half-year birthday, but okay, we'll kick off the summer with it. And thanks to Kate Rose, the Fleetwood Mac band, that was really phenomenal. So, other than that, we have a general consent agenda in front of us, our minutes from our regular council meeting of May 6th, warrant reports, event requests, the Old Car Festival, as Mr. Garrett alluded to, and HV Pavilion, a celebration for Gail. So if there was any corrections or... Was it you, Gail?
No, when I read that, I went, what?
So we have a consent agenda in front of us. I'd entertain a motion to approve if everyone's fine with the wording. And
So moved.
Support.
motion made by Trustee Wagner, support by Trustee Reister. We'll do a roll call, please, Christian.
Trustee Olson?
Yes.
Trustee Kissinger?
Yes.
Trustee Reister?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Fields?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller?
Yes.
President Frisbee?
Yes. So we have a few action items in front of us. We had a master plan adoption. The staff, is Jim's going to talk
Yes.
to us about that.
Yes, and Kyle Mucha had a conflict, and and was going to make some significant juggling, and I excused him from tonight's meeting. I felt this has been in front of the council now multiple times over the past 6-7 months. It was the public hearing was at the last Planning Commission meeting. The Planning Commission unanimously had a roll call vote to support and recommend the approval of the 2024 Comprehensive Master Plan, and that is what we're, as a staff, recommending tonight to have a motion support roll call vote to approve this master plan. I think it's noteworthy, the amount of input we've received from citizens, and including the 63-day period for comments, and certainly appreciate and received very positive suggestions from Brady Township. We incorporated all of their suggestions, as well as overwhelming majority of comments we received during that period. So be happy to answer questions, but we are recommending that motion in support.
President Frisbee, so moved.
Support?
So we have a motion by President Pro Tem Keller, support by Trustee Wagner. Any other comments, discussions? With that, would you do a roll call, please, Christian?
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Kissinger,
Yes.
Trustee Olson,
Yes.
Trustee Reister,
Yes.
Trustee Fields,
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller,
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes.
Next on the action item is an approval at the council level for a public participation plan. This was presented at a recent council meeting. It's part of the RRC initiative that was taken on, put in front of the Planning Commission, and received their unanimous support and approval and recommendation. So staff is recommending a motion support and roll call vote to approve the public participation plan, and it will be submitted as part of the RRC and followed by staff as we move forward. The actual plan has a different cover picture. It was actually Congressman Tim Walberg held a town hall recently, and we had over 30 people there, so it's actually a photo from that event. Certainly appreciate the congressman holding that town hall here, so be happy to answer any questions after a motion and support.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Fields, support by Trustee Kissinger. Any other discussion or comment?
I'd just like to say thanks to the staff and Jackie and the whole team that worked on this. I know it was a lot of hours and a lot of collaboration going into it, so thank you for all of it. Really appreciate it.
With that, we'll do a roll call, please.
Trustee Reister,
Yes.
Trustee Fields,
Yes.
Trustee Olson,
Yes.
Trustee Kissinger,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller,
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes, motion carries. So we have Zoning Board of Appeal bylaws.
Zoning Board of Appeals bylaws is coming out of the same initiative. We have a zoning board of appeals, and it is by our ordinance with the council members, but we did not have bylaws. These are best practice bylaws that have been reviewed by the village attorney and staff, so we're recommending a motion, support, and roll call vote to approve these bylaws.
So we have a request from the staff to enter into recommendation of the motion of support for the bylaws for the zoning board.
Trustee Wagner, I so move.
Trustee Fields, support.
Trustee Wagner, motion, and support by Trustee Fields. We'll do a roll call, please, Christian, if there's no further discussion.
Trustee Olson,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller,
Yes.
Trustee Kissinger,
Yes.
Trustee Fields,
Yes.
Trustee Reister,
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Item 11D is a component of the 2024-2025 fiscal year budget presentation. This has to do with employee benefits specific to medical coverage. I went back and looked at some historical data, and the village medical coverage back in 2016 and 2017 was on round numbers $160,000. Last year, and I'm only talking medical, not dental, vision, and other type of insurance, was actually probably a little bit north of $150,000. We still have another month's payment on that, but I really feel that this is one area that the village, our most valuable asset are the human beings that work for the village. I will state, so I believe all council members are aware, but I do not take medical coverage from the village, so this does not impact me in any manner. But I do feel, especially for the police officers that are serving the village, as well as our Department of Public Works staff and the leadership team, that it goes a long way in an investment, not only for their performance, but goes to employee retention, employee recruitment. In one area of our benefits that was on the lower end was the medical coverage. So I began to competitively shop the coverage for this fiscal year. Like I said, it's always motivated by the investment of the coverage, as well as being able to determine if we can offer our employees an improved health benefit. Chris Glass from Gallagher, who represents the pool, assisted me greatly in this evaluation. The pool serves Michigan government units and has over 180 smaller municipalities and school districts within their group. Many of them, like the village of Vicksburg. A significant advantage of joining the pool will be the average yearly increases of health care benefits are 50% less for the past 5 years when compared to the yearly increases we had received. By joining the pool, the village will make an investment in our employees by providing them with better health medical insurance coverage. And I believe, again, it will help the village in retention and recruitment of current and future people to join our team. I think that the medical benefit that we currently offer employees is inadequate, and it places potentially substantial financial risk onto the individual employees. By offering a medical plan that is improved, though not a top plan by any means, I feel this will be received well by our staff, and again, will aid in that employee retention. The current plan that we have for employees is a priority HMO. If we were to keep that same plan, which this impacts as well, I think our total is 14 employees receive medical benefits. The plan we had last year, the company has withdrawn in not allowing us to renew that plan. But at a comparable level, that plan would be an investment of just over $164,000 for the 24-25 fiscal year. What I am recommending tonight and asking for council support is that we move our agent to Chris Glass from Gallagher, and we would become members of the pool. In the approval tonight is that we invest in, again, this conglomerate of municipalities and school districts that have a formal name, the pool, but it's a priority value 2000 plan. This improved plan is an additional investment of $20,910 for those 14 employees, which would be a total of $185,113. Advantages, and there are multiple, but the significant advantages is a family out-of-pocket max is reduced from $14,000 down to $6,000. for a family, and individuals from just over 7,000 to 3,000. Also, the co-insurance is risen from 70% to 80%. There are smaller other positive to move to this plan. We're also recommending that the village continue to offer health care utilizing the hard cap contribution limits under the Publicly Funded Health Insurance Contribution Act for medical benefit plans, the 24 hard cap limit for a single person, and that's what the state of Michigan says this is the maximum amount that tax dollars can be used for under these situations, is $7,700. Individual plus one is $16,000, and family coverage is $21,000. That's not to, I'm not saying that's what we're paying per employee, but that's what the state law would allow the maximum to be paid, and as well as a pool and average. But be happy to answer questions, but certainly looking for a motion and a support for the village manager to enter into a contractual agreement with the pool and specific to medical coverage, this priority value 2000 plan. What happens upon your approval is that would also make Chris Glass our agent of record. Then that will give him the authority to contact, and we will shop the best coverage and investment points for dental, medical, or dental, vision, and disability, as well as life insurance. And I anticipate those would come in front of the council no later than June 17th.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by President Pro Tem Keller, support by Trustee Wagner. We have some discussion or
Jim, I'm assuming this will take effect July 1st, new fiscal year.
Yes, and it will be initially, because they are a calendar year type coverage, the initial commitment from us will be for 18 months, and we'll give that more explanation once. It doesn't impact this yearly fiscal year investment of the $185,000. But there's if we get approval tonight, Chris and I will then analyze and look at deductibles, because switching plans and moving to a calendar year versus one that we had mid-year, there is a potential for employees close to reaching the deductible limit that then it starts back at 0 in July. So as part of the vision and dental, after that analysis is complete, there could be a recommendation we provide at that time.
Jim, just for my information, for the monthly premiums on this sheet that you gave us, is that what the village will be paying? Like, employees don't have monthly
Correct.
premiums? Okay,
Correct.
because I was going to ask, my second question to that was going to be, why don't they get a choice? Because I come from an industry where you get a choice of your plan. But if they don't have a premium, it makes sense.
Right.
Perfect, thank you.
And that was just another, we're trying to, if we can keep it under a certain investment level, not move to a 80-20, which is your other option under state law to move to.
Jim, can you just explain to me, I'm not quite sure I understand the hard cap, that's the amount that the village pays?
No, this is by state of Michigan legislation. So the state sets a maximum amount. I believe it is to create the best environment that a local municipality would not pay extreme amounts for potentially a Cadillac type plan that might be out there. That they set the limits on the amount of money a municipality can spend in each of these categories per employee. So one of our employees that has benefits for an entire family, the maximum amount by law that we can pay is a little over 21,000 for the year total. And conversely, what's listed for the individual plus one and individual. But that's a state of Michigan legislation. So, our other option would be to move to a traditional 80-20 plan. Some municipalities have moved to 90-10 plans, but right now we feel we're at a limit that can still be under the hard cap and not place that additional burden on the employees.
Do we think that any employees that aren't in or have not opted for insurance will come into this because of this change?
I can speak for the one employee and we only have one employee that hasn't taken the insurance, and that's myself. And I've committed to the village that I would not take insurance. I have insurance offered through my retirement, and that conversely, there is a policy that the village has I guess, I don't know if it's a buyout, I'm trying to think of the terminology, but by not taking insurance, the village policy is that employee would get $3,500. The amount of money, as you can see, to insure myself and my wife would be about $16,000. So the village is getting a little bit of savings there.
It's very important, right? From an employer, I know that this is the second most important thing to an employee, besides their wages, is their health insurance coverage. And a lot of it, sometimes it's the first and foremost with people. So this is a really important part of our retention policy, keeping our good team together. So any further questions or discussion? If not, we'll entertain a roll call, please.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Kissinger,
Yes.
Trustee Reister,
Yes.
Trustee Fields,
Yes.
Trustee Olson,
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller,
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes. Motion carries. That moves us on to item 11F, electric carts.
While we're on E, would be the Angels Crossing, a CIP purchase. Yeah, we have, again, this is ongoing investments on equipment, and some of this equipment is by hours near end of life. So two of our green mowers, one is a 2015, the other is a 2016. More importantly, one is about 3,000 hours and the other one is 3,600 hours. We started to look and begin a plan to invest and update these mowers. John Deere is in the golf business, and as a municipality, we made contact and received a municipal price for two mowers. You can see it's $121,233.84. The normal price, this is over a $20,000 savings being under the municipal plan that was offered. We did send out and also did receive a quote on a Toro mower just to get a comparative analysis, and it was more expensive. We have provided the council with that documentation. Do want to highlight that this money involves no tax dollars of the village. It's funded with cash that we have saved through the business of operating the golf course. So it's 100% golf course money, purchasing the equipment to go into the investment of the course. And there will be plenty of balance in the 584 Angels Fund. I have put in the agenda as well, that approval would also be approving a corresponding budget amendment to the fiscal year we're in. There are currently 2 mowers. This was another advantage of why we're presenting now. We ordered 2 T-box mowers 24 months ago that are arriving this summer, and initially we thought there would be the same type of lead time, but there are 2 of these units in Grand Rapids at the distribution of John Deere that they're holding to see what the action is tonight, but be happy to answer any questions on this.
President Frisbee, so moved.
Second.
Jim,
Further discussion, yeah?
the existing mowers being replaced, are they gonna be put up for competitive bids?
Yes, we will put those out. The estimated value is between $7,000 and $10,000 each, and we'll report back to the council the success of that.
Thank you.
Any other discussion or questions? Well, motion made by President Pro Tem Keller, support by Trustee Kissinger. We'll do a roll call. Christian?
Trustee Fields,
Yes?
Trustee Olson,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Kissinger,
Yes.
Trustee Reister,
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller,
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes. No matter how I write it, F always follows E, so now we're at electric carts.
Yeah, this is unique in these 2 electric vehicles that are utility, similar, if anyone was Saturday or at any of last year's Berg events, we currently, DPW uses a utility cart from Angels Crossing. They end up losing that availability of that cart for a day and a half or so. Tom Ham through Renaissance Golf came across their 2022 models. They're valued between $11,000 and $14,000. We're made through Tom's company an offer to purchase both for $15,000. They would be used by DPW, potentially our police department for the downtown events. And if not, certainly 100% will be used by DPW. I believe both of them will be within the village, not the golf course. The reason we put this on the agenda here at the last minute is Tom is going to go and inspect the vehicles later this week, and the company that is offering the vehicles and has agreed to this price would rather not wait till our next meeting, June 3rd. So this is a motion and support to approve the village manager to potentially enter into this contract to purchase these 2 electric vehicles in their miniature, the beds fold and everything. We call them utility vehicles, based on Tom Ham's looking at them, and recommendation later this week, and we'll certainly report back on June 3rd to the council, but they have a very nice practical use to them with the amount of events we're having. And
Well, we have a motion or a request of staff?
and so we're on the same page. This will be village general fund. If
Right.
yeah.
What was the value?
The values in total are between 22, for the 2 would be between 22 and 25,000, and through Tom's relationship with this company and his purchasing of other equipment, they've agreed to both of them for 15,000.
All right. So we have a request of staff to enter into an agreement to purchase these electric carts. So we have a motion.
So moved.
Support.
Jim, are these gonna reside at DPW building?
Yes. Yep, and they're all set up with power and that.
They will be electric.
Yeah, they'll be electric.
Just asking, because being an owner of an electric golf cart up north, I make sure that they have adequate space, because they need charging room and everything.
So we have a motion by trustee Wagner and support by trustee Reeser. We do a roll call, please, Christian?
Trustee Kissinger,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Olson,
Yes.
trustee Reister. Yes. Trustee Fields. Yes. President Pro Tem Keller.
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you all. Leads us to Mr. Mallory's report.
Yes, on the first item, to the village council president, president pro temp and trustees, I have provided you with an enclosed capital improvement program which serves as the village's multi-year planning instrument used to identify needs, wants, and wishes and potential financing sources for public infrastructure improvements and capital purchases. The purpose of a CIP is to facilitate the orderly planning of infrastructure improvements to maintain, preserve, and protect the village's existing infrastructure system and to provide for the purchasing or scheduled replacement of equipment to help to ensure the efficient delivery of services that the community desires. The goal to use the CIP as a tool to implement the village's various master plans, goals, objectives, policies, and to assist with the village's financial planning. CIP plays an important role by providing a link between planning and budgeting for capital and non-routine operating expenditures. The CIP process occurs prior to the operating budget process, as the CIP will be used to develop the capital portion of the budget. Approval of the CIP by the Planning Commission does not signify final approval or funding of any project contained within the plan. Rather, by approving the CIP, the Planning Commission acknowledges that they would agree that the projects present are a reasonable interpretation of the upcoming needs, wants, and wishes for the village and comply with the village's master plan. Generally, the projects contained in the first year of the plan have a probability to be requested in the next year's department requested budget and potentially advance to the manager's recommendation and/or village council's approved budget should funding be available. This year's CIP document has been expanded to provide a more in-depth explanation of the process, project categories, and funding sources. The document now includes primary strategic goal alignment for each project and additional charts and graphs to add context and enhance the sharing of information. Your participation in the CIP process and thoughtful consideration of project recommendations contained herein are greatly appreciated. With the approval of the master plan, we moved the schedule to present to the Planning Commission will be June 10th, seeking their support and approval, and then moving to the council on June 17th. But what I have is more in depth. We've certainly presented our CIP plan, and we really go into depth more in our January review after the audit presentation, providing the council with our recommendations for assignments and commitments, with the goal being to meet the council's expectation that we are able to fund these CIP purchases with cash. And I think it's important for a CIP program, the issue of taxes, state funding cuts, cap proposals, specifically Proposal A, and a potential reduction in the local revenue stream are major considerations that a community must address on an annual basis to balance the needs and wants of residents, businesses, and visitors, the delivery of services, and the maintenance of its infrastructure. Governmental response to today's changing needs must be achieved within the limits of its available resources. Choosing priorities among competing needs becomes an important element in what is to be the ultimate response. Since it's often impossible to meet all the identified needs with the revenue available, requests for expenditures must be prioritized to enable decision makers to eliminate non-essential expenditures. Village of Vicksburg's capital improvement program is a planning tool with a goal to identify and schedule capital improvements over a 6-year period between fiscal years ending 2024 and 2029. CIP serves the village multi-year planning instrument used to identify needs and financing sources for public infrastructure improvements. Preparation of the CIP is performed under the authority of the Michigan Planning Enabling Act, which states the capital improvements program shall show those public structures and improvements in the general order of their priority that in the village council's judgment will be needed or desirable and can be undertaken within the ensuing 6-year period. The capital improvement programs shall be based upon the requirements of the local unit of government for all types of public structures and improvements, end the quotes. CIP is an opportunity to formulate strategic long-term policy decisions that extend beyond the 24-25 fiscal year. Each year, the Village of Vicksburg invests significant time and resources to design, construct, and maintain the infrastructure and facilities needed to deliver municipal services to residents and businesses. Because of the high cost associated with building and maintaining capital assets, the village must carefully balance the need for such assets with our requirements to sustain a strong financial position. Village Council has adopted a capital improvement resolution, or will be presented with a capital improvement resolution that establishes guidelines for reporting and tracking of capital expenditures. And these are identified as those having a value of more than $5,000 per item and have a useful life of at least 3 years following the date of purchase. Capital projects include design, construction, as well as the purchase of land and purchase of capital assets. It goes on and demonstrates. We've also put where our funding limits cash in hand are in the assignments that have been made. They'll also, for the 24-25 fiscal year, and I think that's where I need to emphasize, when we talk about CIP and when it's presented June 17th, we're not talking about the fiscal year, though we're presenting it as part of the budget. We're looking out 6 years beyond this budget and saying, through this collection of data, here are the top priorities, and here is where we feel they can be plugged in, and the village will have cash on hand. But I think it's important because what these 7 that I identified prior to tonight's approval, but including the 2 CIP purchases tonight, they're probably, out of the total amount, at least in excess of 95% is saved cash on hand. So there was a plan before these purchases, and we've listed out the road work, the village-wide curbside pickup, new bed for the plow truck, leaf truck replacement, the in-car and body camera system for the police officers, the stationary speed signs, the T-mower that we authorized and is in use out at Angels, as well as tonight's 2 CIP plans. We've been able to do it for cash purchases. I have also on the back of the capital provided the results of multiple surveys, input from the Planning Commission and Village Council, listing out 7 areas that fit the definition of a CIP program. In that, the surveys were to rank the priority. First category was to be completed within 2 years, and the second category was in 5 years. There was an additional category that was outside of 5 years. And so we have showed the percentage on multi-purpose park, kids playground equipment, pickleball court, skateboard park, new municipal parking lot behind South Main Street businesses, the makeover of Clark Park, reconstruction of Sunset Lake Park, continuing non-motorized trail towards Village of Schoolcraft or Three Rivers Veterans Memorial, and a recreational parking lot. So that shows you where some of the data from public and yourselves, as well as the planning commission, has landed. I have also provided a copy of a resolution that will be presented on June 24th related to CIP plan. And this is following best practices, but I wanted to kind of give a background to what is coming up here in the next few meetings and where we're at on that.
So the 7 CIP projects, you said the first column was 1 year?
First column is the by priority in 2 fiscal years, and the second column by priority
5.
is 5, within 5.
Oh, I see, so the third column's the total of those percentages, I
Yes,
guess.
sir.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you doing that. That was an eye-opener. And good planning, as usual, with the CIP. Look forward to the budget. Are there any questions of Jim in this area? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. My last information is certainly, hopefully everyone had an opportunity, if not personally, but to interact with people who were downtown Saturday. Multiple contacts through business owners, talking very favorably once again at what having these events are to their bottom line and just overall thoughts on the village. Certainly like to publicly thank Discover Kalamazoo and our county administrator, Kevin Catlin, for coming down, and we're estimating somewhere between 2,300 and 2,500 other people enjoying what was had to offer on a Saturday afternoon. In some aspects, we were talking the weather might have been too good, being the first Saturday that was so nice out, but it certainly, by all indications, was a very good event. And through this, there was other governmental people from Southwest Michigan there, and one made a comment, and it's two topic, but I wanted to highlight two because the council approved this at the last meeting. Was we're kind of on a 12-month beautification of the village, and shout out of gratitude for PK Contracting to get this done before the Berg celebration and completed certainly before the car show, but just on the cleanliness of downtown, the street striping that is throughout town was noteworthy, and I've had multiple citizens as well speak to that regard, so definitely appreciate it. I will, on the project that Mr. Schwartz mentioned, certainly was all the staff from the police department to communication that was gone out through our, whether it was websites or every other channel, police officers being readily available to change detour. But I think significant, and for me it's not behind the scenes, is the fact that project was involved at the federal level for the USDA a higher end audit, and Michelle Morgan gets credit for that because passed with flying colors, which is incredibly rare for a community to do that on the first time. Do you remember what that's called? Because I forgot now. But it, pardon me? Single audit. Single audit. Correct. So I think that's noteworthy to remind the council on too. So that's my report for tonight. Thank you.
It's very noteworthy. We've talked about it at the year-end audit results, and that's come up a couple of times to finally be there. Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah, That's cool. And committee reports. Tree committee.
Yes, we met with Manager Mallory tonight and had a really, I think, a very good discussion and have a path to follow now, and I'm looking forward to it.
I appreciate all the time that your team is putting into it. I know you've met on a lot of occasions. I've met with you on several occasions and just kind of help
I think
steer it in the right direction, and I think I like the way it's coming together. So.
the team really did do a fine job, I think, on putting together our project. So I'm looking forward to seeing it go further.
Very good. Parks and Rec?
We actually have not had a meeting in June, and we don't have one on the schedule, or I'm sorry, May, I'm in the wrong month. But, and we don't have one on the schedule for May because of the holidays, so that might be something we need to think about. But for those of you, if you're planning your calendars, June 21st is the first movie night in the park. It's going to be the Lego movie, so it'll be lots of fun. Everything is awesome. So.
I've seen how Chad's the chair. I would look right at him too. Thanks for that. Cats is next week, and I'll jump by the sewer. It is also next week. We have a planning commission last week, right?
Planning Commission. So Ryan Collins from Frederick Construction came in, kind of gave us a very, very high level look at the proposed car wash that will be coming to town. 2 automatic bays, a nice bank of vacuums, and in their planning, they're being very considerate of the neighbors that will be behind there. They're looking at a variety of different types of screening to help block sound and sight for those neighbors. So there'll be more to come on that with an official site plan coming. And then the DDA is starting discussions for their updated DDA plan, kind of needs, wants, wishes. Had just a couple things thrown out of public restrooms and business identification signs, like on the 4 corners of what businesses are down there, et cetera. So that conversation is going to start now.
Thank you so much. And it leads us to fire.
Yeah, we had a meeting last week. A few things came out of it. First of all, you know, it's horrible what happened with Portage with the tornadoes, but we were informed in the meeting last week that the chief got 2 phone calls. The first phone call was that Schoolcraft was a direct target, and the second phone call was that Vicksburg was going to be the next direct target. Because I don't know if it's the emergency management office, they basically plot those out, and I guess typically tornadoes have a tendency, they do go northeast on their track, but they can veer east, and those were supposed to veer east. They did not. They did not turn, so they continued on their northeast track. Otherwise, Schoolcraft would have been hit and we would have been hit. So, you know, I feel horrible for Portage, what they've gone through. Also south of us in Colon, that's devastating as well if you drive down that way. But we definitely dodged a bullet. Sirens went off, so I was obviously at home and I was checking the sky the whole time. And also our fire authority, they dispatched vehicles to Portage to help with tree removal and whatever they needed done. So just letting you know that they did do that. So and they made sure that our stations were still manned while they were doing that. I believe they sent 5 trucks up there. So the other thing we've had on the agenda at the meetings for quite a while in regards to the lease on the station here in Vicksburg has been up. And finally, I talked with staff last week before the meeting and said, you know, I feel bad because I feel like I keep kicking the can down the road regarding the station. I think all of you know that the roof is bad. It needs to be replaced. It's a very large sum of money needed to replace that roof. I was told by staff that they were not in a position currently to support the village picking the tab up for replacing that. And that they were not ready to come to the council with that type of request. So I informed the authority last week that that was the case. But the village is more than willing to sit down with the authority and get this worked out so that something will, you know, one way or the other. I mean, the reality is with the authority, the village is going to be responsible for a portion of the payment anyways, but, so now the authority is aware of that. The other thing that came out in our normal consent agenda, one of the board members noticed that there was a large reimbursement to one of the staff members. Questions were asked, and we were informed that what happens during the course of a month is if things for staples need to be purchased or whatever, they were purchasing them on their private credit card, and they're submitting for reimbursement for that. So I immediately wrote down a new business credit card when I heard that. And so when it got to new business, I raised my hand and said, you know, is there a way we can clean this up for her? Because, you know, at the end of the month, she has to go through and divide her, you know, figure out what was personal, what was business, and it's just a bookkeeping nightmare for her. So we will be looking at getting a credit card for the authority. One person will be the holder of it. That'll be the administrator. So hopefully that'll get cleaned up. So just want to make sure you were aware of it.
Thanks so much. That takes us to trustees time, and I'll start down with Ms. Trustee. Citizens, golly.
You're new, I understand that.
Oh, well, I won't go into it further than that. Do we have any citizens that'd like to make a comment? Can be on anything that's on your mind. I had ESP on that, I knew it. Takes us trustees time, and start with Ms. Trustee Fields.
I attended the birthday celebration. Just so many people to thank, the police officers, DPW, staff. It takes a village to put something like that together, and it was done very well. Two things that I noticed that was kind of exciting to see. A lot of younger people there this time, friends of my kids, and their spouses and or significant others. So it's nice to see some of that younger demographic coming in for these events too. The other thing, my husband grew up and is from Schoolcraft, and there was a very large group of Schoolcraft people who raved about everything that Vicksburg is doing. Said they so wish, obviously Schoolcraft is a little tore up right now, so that makes it even more apparent that we've got a lot going on here, but the word has gotten around, and they just think that what's being done here is phenomenal with all of these events. And that was before they knew that I was on the council, so they weren't even saying that just to be nice to me, but they were very, very complimentary of everything that we've done.
Thanks.
That's all.
We'll jump down to Trustee Olson.
Thank you, sir. I want to talk about the tornado. I was on the phone with Tracy McMillan. I tracked that tornado on my home computer from Chicago, Michigan City, all the way until the first tornado touched down in Cass County. I informed Tracy that the tornado touched down 3 minutes before he got it across from Kalamazoo County Radio. So I informed him it was coming right straight at us. And I think where we missed the bullet is Portage Police and Fire were in direct line, and it missed them. I had several friends and their homes were damaged and that, but I want to talk about Teresa. Teresa's a good friend of mine and my wife's. Her and her husband Rick live near the corner of Romance and Lover's Lane. Their home took a direct hit. You hear about all these horror stories, you hear about all these stories of heroism and everything else. This is a prime example. The sirens went off, they were racing for the bathroom to jump in their bathtub. Smart place to go, right? Yeah, in this instance. The roof got sucked off the top of the house. Rick was thrown out of the home, flew 100 feet through the air. He sustained a good cut to his head, took 7 stitches to close it, but he fractured a bone in his neck. And he was up running around trying to get to his wife. The roof flipped up and come up upside down into the house, pinning Teresa to the floor. She was pinned there for over an hour. Rick was on the phone with 911 trying to get help. It took a half an hour before he finally got through. That's how much mayhem was going on. And that's just one area. But look at, what was it? 11 miles, 17 miles, this thing was on the ground. 6 Mattawan firefighters showed up to help. They could not cut her out with using power tools because there was a major gas leak in the area. They could hear it. They could not shut it off. 6 Mattawan firefighters risked their lives to lift that roof off of that woman and pull her out. Her daughter sat with her holding her hand for an hour and helped pull her out. Teresa is really lucky because she only suffered a broken foot. So I want to personally thank the Mattawan Fire Department, and I will, because I know several people in Mattawan, and they're very close friends, and it's my intention to appear before their city council and thank them. But we hear all these stories, but this is one, even I couldn't believe it when I first heard it, and I couldn't believe it until I talked to Rick and Teresa. We all were so lucky. No one died. There were injuries, yes, but nothing major catastrophe. You know, I mean, I feel bad about FedEx. It's going to be Christmas before FedEx is repaired and up and running again. But it could have hit Pfizer. It could have hit the airport. It could have hit so many things, and it hopped, skipped, and jumped, and that's what tornadoes do. And I think if we're all smart, we should all build our new homes underground. But that's just me. Anyhow, but thank you very much.
Trustee Wagner.
I wanted to echo Trustee Field's comments. My wife and I had the opportunity to spend the afternoon in Vicksburg on Saturday. Had a wonderful time for the Berg's birthday. I did not win the cupcake eating contest.
Participate?
I did. I got 4. The winner got 8.
And then
I was told by my wife and the Discover Kalamazoo team that visited that I was awarded the cleanest eater in the contest. I don't think it's worth anything, even bragging rights. But on our way out of town, we had an amazing time. We stayed about 4 hours, enjoyed the bands, enjoyed everything. It really picked up when the sun started going down. I think it was just really dang hot in the afternoon. But as we're driving out of town, we saw 6 families in a row of couples with children in strollers walking down the sidewalk, going downtown. I mean, hopefully we're going to be among them here very shortly, but I mean, that is a testament, as Wendy said, is that we're getting that younger generation, the folks that are out to have a good time. We're making a difference, and people are really recognizing that to come down. It's a family-friendly atmosphere. It's walkable. It's accessible. We're doing a lot of the right things, and it cemented that seeing it on Saturday and just seeing how happy everyone was to be out and participate. So I thought it was a really successful event. I'm looking forward to the Berg Days. Those are going to be amazing. With the addition of the electric carts, I think it's going to be even faster and cleaner and quieter too. So only better things, and I commend the staff and everyone involved to keep moving them forward, because as Wendy said as well, it takes a village to run these types of events. I've run events similar to this before, and it's an undertaking every time, and we've committed to do this a dozen times every year, every summer for 2 years now. I mean, it's a lot, and I think it's paying dividends, so thank you to everybody.
Trustee Kissinger.
I too will parrot Wendy and Ryan. I was at the birthday party as well. I too lost the cupcake eating challenge. I was going to sign my children up, and someone heard from a little bird named Ryan Wagner, I believe, that I also wanted to join. So I only got 3 cupcakes. I slowed down because I did not want to win my heat, to be honest. It was a great event. I took my family, my wife and my 3 children enjoyed it. We were there also for hours. My kids really enjoyed the vertical edge equipment. So I commend staff, police department, and DPW for really putting on an awesome show. And it's just the preamble of what we're going to have in the summer. So I'm really excited about that. And lastly, I would like to thank Matt Hall's office. They sent me a letter of congratulating me on this position. So,
Yeah. Trustee Reister.
I'm wondering what time you all were downtown. I'm serious, because when I was down there, it was very sparse. There wasn't hardly anybody around. And when I talked to the policeman that was there, they said, yeah, there's not very many people. So I have a feeling that I went early enough that I did not see all of this activity. Because I think I left downtown probably around 4:30 or 5.
That's when the cupcake challenge started.
Oh,
And
I wondered.
mayhem broke out.
Okay, I thought that the cupcake thing was gonna be like at 3:30 in the afternoon. So that when I went down there, I thought, well, there's nothing happening. So I am so happy to find out that it really, I just left too soon. That was the problem.
It's like
And
somebody flicked a switch.
Yeah.
And the place just filled up.
Okay, well, I'm so glad to hear that, because I was a little disappointed, so now I'm not disappointed. I'm glad that everybody had such a good time, and I am also looking very much forward to the Wednesday night. I just talked to somebody at my church on Sunday who said, when are the Berg days starting? We started going to those last year, and we went to every single one of them. So you're right. I mean, this has gotten to be a big thing. And so I'm thrilled that the birthday party went really well later in the day, and looking forward to birthdays.
Thank you, Dean. President Pro Tem Keller. Right hand man.
Well, I was not there Saturday. I was in Midland being papa to my 2 grandkids, so I did check in on Facebook every once in a while to see how things were going. And it looked like there was a lot of people that were enjoying the music from what I saw, so I apologize I wasn't able to attend, but I had to watch a soccer game and then watch my 5-year-old and almost 3-year-old run around the backyard. So I did want to say I did do double duty last Wednesday. I attended the Citizens Academy after the Fire Authority meeting because it was my night to be there. So I vehemently apologized to the group that was here when I walked in for being late, and then I promptly got put on the spot by Manager Mallory to explain why I got into public service. So I think I faked it pretty good for a while.
You had a very good response.
So, at any rate, but as Manager Mallory said, and President Frisbee, it's there were a lot of excellent questions that were asked of the panelists that were up here. So, I think it's been well worth the investment that the staff has put in and the time of the citizens. So.
Yeah, I'll ditto that. So that's my lead statement is the Citizens Academy. Jim's agreed to do it next year again, and I really implore anybody that's interested in how government operates to take part in it. It's just been, it's been an eye-opener. It was really, really positive. So this is the last Wednesday, I believe. We're wrapping that up. So thank you, Jim and his staff, for doing that. Christian, I think you need hazardous duty pay. I saw an electric cord attack you from the street. I don't know what it was about, but good recovery. That and the streets downtown looked fantastic. Jim, thanks for getting the roads. My father-in-law talked about it for years. A little hard to seeing early in the morning going to the workout club and not having the fog line. I didn't realize how important those are, in the fog. So the downtown looked phenomenal. And DPW, Jimmy and your crew, for taking part and helping out Portage when they were just in dire need. Spent several days down there with our equipment and the team cleaning up and helping people get trees off their houses and just helping the public works of Portage support their community. So thanks for that. And that was about it for me, and thanks for everyone being here tonight. Unless there's any further discussion, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Thank God they repaired the air raid sirens, tornado sirens.
Yes.
Yeah, because the initial test, the one out by me did not work.
Well, they worked. We all
worked
everybody
very
agreed.
well.
And we were very fortunate they worked, right? As you said
Some of
earlier.
the guys ran outside and looked at the sky while the
It's-
wife was running to the
That's what you do when the sirens come on.
Trustee Wagner, I'll move to adjourn.
Support.
All those in favor, say
Aye.
aye. All those opposed, stay here by yourself. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.